What's up, everybody? It is the one and the only, the first and the finest, Miss Wright. Thank you so much for tuning in. Such a pleasure to be here. Today is going to be another sit down and chat because I have finished one of the most popular self-help books out there. And while I've been on my own little self-help and self-development journey, and I have been very vocal on this channel about discussing that with you guys, I definitely wanted to get on here and show you what I got from the book. So while all the suspense has been built up, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The book we are discussing is the infamous You Are a Badass by Jen Sincera. Now, this book, if you use Pinterest, you've seen this book. Like, there's no way. And pretty much Instagram too, but definitely Pinterest. And I'm a heavy Pinterest person. So prior to reading this book, I had read Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life, and I was in love with it. I took so much from it. I wrote a lot down, and I started to realize, okay, I like this, you know, self-help journey type of thing. I read the book pretty fast, and I took a lot of notes. And from that, I was like, okay, I want to get another one. I started looking up suggestions, and this book came about. So this video could do one of two things for you. You could either listen to it and be like, oh my goodness, I want to go out and buy this book. Like, I just needed to make sure that it wasn't trash. So I'm so glad that I listened to Brianna talk about it, because I think I'm gonna go get it. Or you could be like, I'm so glad that I listened to Brianna talk about this book, because I do not want to read that book, and I really thought about buying it, and I really don't feel like reading it, so I don't feel like buying it. I'm so glad she told me that. Or, you know, I'm so glad she told me that because I don't like to read. I got enough from this video that I don't need to go and read it. So whatever you feel like you get from this, I hope that it's helpful. I definitely suggest buying the book if you are working on yourself. And to be honest, if you're not, I feel like there's always room for improvement. So if you're not actively like, okay, I'm in my self-help, self-love, self-care vibe right now, I need all of the vibrations I can get, it's still a good read in my opinion. So let me get into what the book is about. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You are a badass. It is pretty much a how-to on elevating your life and becoming your best self, and just beating all of the doubts that a lot of people have about themselves. So if I had to describe the book, it's very difficult to summarize it entirely. Initially, I wanted to get on here and be like, yo, this is the spark notes to the book. I know a lot of people don't like to read, so here's the spark notes. This book is so in-depth. And it's just so, and it's not that long. Like, it's not that long, but it's so in depth that I don't know that that would really be helpful. So for me, what I'm going to do is just give you guys my highlights, the things that I felt like stuck out, and you can do with that what you will. So one of the biggest things that she discusses in the book is called the Big Snooze. And another way that I found easy to try to like break down some of my favorite parts is to use quotes that are either from the book or that I came up with that kind of help me, you know, wrap things up for you guys. So as far as the Big Snooze is concerned, she refers to it very often, and it's pretty much this false idea or perception of yourself that you either have from other people telling you things, or you believing things about yourself and now they're true. So the quote that easily describes this aspect of the book would be, what you believe will be true for you. So if you grew up and in your entire life people told you that you were too nice, and you know, you don't know how to say no, and being nice to a fault is a problem, and like, you know, people will take advantage of you and stuff like that, you start to believe that about yourself, and now it's true. So you could be like, what? I know for a fact that I got an attitude problem. People have told me that my entire life. Like, there's no way in the world I don't got an attitude problem, because I do. And I would look at you, well, Jen Sincera would look at you and be like, you believe that about yourself. That's why you got an attitude problem. Like, you think you came out the womb with that because the people tell you that? Or have you ever really sat yourself down and been like, okay, so if I just don't choose to believe that about myself, maybe it won't be that. I think these kinds of concepts are what makes it difficult for people to wrap their heads around self-help books, because it can feel very like, what the F? So if I just wake up every day and choose to be happy, wake up every day and choose or decide that I'm gonna be a millionaire, like it's just gonna happen. And the backside of it, and the reason why you should crack open the book, those people in particular who feel that way are the type of people that should crack open the book, because y'all have a wall up. And when you crack the book open, you will realize that there are layers to that. You know, deciding things and affirming things and manifesting things are very, very much true and accurate and possible, but it has to be matched with action and effort. So I hope that kind of wraps up the big snooze for you. She refers to it very often. That's what you're going to need to know about that. Getting yourself out of that false perception of what people have decided for you and are like descriptions or characteristics of who you are. We're going to get on out of that, okay? That's something that I took away that I don't want to allow to be true for me anymore. Like I'm just gonna not. Simple as that. Of course, another very big chapter in aspect of the book is self-love. I think she ends every single chapter with love yourself, you know, because that's how you become a badass. There's really no way around it. You gotta love yourself. And of course that spoke to me heavily, especially when I started this self-help journey. I was in a really dark place in my life. Is it giving? Like I'm not depressed, but I was, and I'm still, you know, not at my best. I don't know if that's visible. And I think the most important aspect of that for me was just learning how to love myself by myself and love the new versions of myself. Like I was growing into becoming a different person and learning who that is, what she loves, and how to cater to her. And I think that the mind-boggling and like moment for me was looking back and seeing how those actions and how the actions of loving myself have done wonders for me, and how I've continued to do those things after getting out of that dark place. It's one thing to start the healing process and the actively working on yourself when you're in a dark place and you're trying to get out of it. If you get out of it and you just throw all your self-help like goodies in the garbage, like you're gonna end up back where you started. So just maintaining that consistency was huge for me. And she talks a lot about that and loving yourself. And another thing that I like is that she gives you like activities and things to do. It makes you put a pen to paper. It's definitely not required of you. I know a lot of people read books and, you know, that's it. But I am a writer, so I put the pen to paper when she be telling me to do stuff like, try this out, write these affirmations, do this, that, and the third, and I actually do it. And a lot of them have worked for me. I have physical proof of the affirmations that I have written that have came to life. I had, because of this chapter in particular, chapter 6, love the one you is. It's very like awkwardly read, but that's what it's called. Because that chapter, I wrote the same 5 affirmations 5 times every day for like a month straight. And a lot of those came true, and a lot of those hold true to this day. And I think I'm gonna get back into that. But I'm also going to get back into writing the affirmations and sticking them on the wall. I'm probably gonna do that right after this video, because just having the constant reminder all over the place really does make a difference, y'all. It really does. At least it has for me. Like, you can't, I have manifested things that have come true. Yeah, what was our long-term goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So I'll do 5 years. 5 years from now, I'll be 5, 6, 7, 28. Hopefully, I am like established in my career. Not super established. Like, I'm not saying I can't be, but I would like to be, you know, established in some way where I'm like getting a consistent paycheck, full-time employment, doing what I love, and working my way up the ladder. I would like to be relocated somewhere fun and exciting and new for me. Or maybe I'll be in like living in Atlanta, or like, I don't know. I have affirmed things that have come true. Don't think that I just did it and that's all I did. Y'all know I be working my ass off. But if there ever was doubt that those things don't work, know that they do. From me telling you. Not even from Jensen Zero telling you. I'm living proof. Okay? I'm gonna show y'all the proof. I ain't lying. So yeah, that is another big thing. Self-love. Another big aspect of it, or at least takeaway for me, was gratitude. And a quote that would go with that would be, when you pair gratitude with faith, the results are unimaginable. And that is something that I definitely took away. I have a reminder in my phone. Every time I get into the bed at 10 o'clock, I have a reminder pop up on my phone, and it says, what are you grateful for? And I have to say 3 things that I am grateful for every night before I go to bed. And I do this pretty much every single night because of this chapter. It just makes you realize, okay, when we are trying to achieve a goal, we are so focused on getting there that we forgot that we achieved half of the shit that we was trying to achieve for a billion trillion years. Like, I can't tell y'all how much I really wanted to have a full-time job and be out of my parents' house. Like, I thought I was gonna be living in that house for my entire life. Like, I was just like, please, every affirmation and quote and manifestation and like prayer and 1111 wish and was all that. Like, please, I need to be successful. I need to get out of this house. I need to be on my own. I want to be a grown up. Like, and once I did it, I'm like, oh, please, I need to be on air. I need to be this, I need to be that. And then I'm like, girl, you need to be grateful. Like, take a minute, sit back, and recognize those things because it's a big deal. Like, it's a big deal. So gratitude, self-reflection. So of course this whole book is about self-reflection, but I think another thing that I really like about Jen Sincero is that she also takes the time to like check you a little bit. So a good example of that is a chapter called Millions of Mirrors. And she's pretty much letting you know, like, okay, the people around you that you surround yourself with are all reflections of you. If you have a friend that is consistently bad with punctuality, or that is consistently like unsuccessful, they either are reflecting something that you feel about yourself. Like, maybe that person is mean to you all the time. Do you have an internal thing wrong with you? Not wrong with you, but do you have an internal thing where you low-key be beating yourself up, so like you don't check your friends when they be beating you up? Not physically, but you get what I mean? Like, if you have your own insecurities that might be projected and reflected by the people you surround yourself with. So the perfect quote for this would be, when you surround yourself with trash, you start to stink. My dad used to tell me this all the time as a kid. You want to surround yourself with people that have not similar aspirations, but that are inspiring to you. They keep you on your toes. They keep you on your grind. They'll make you want to do better for yourself. Like, getting out of the bed will feel like an accomplishment if your friends or your boyfriend or your girlfriend does nothing all day long. Like, you know what I'm saying? You need to feel inspired by the people around you and love you. And another way that she'll make you check yourself is be like, okay, if I'm constantly believing these things about myself, like whether it be I'm too nice, I keep using that example because that's for me. I'm too nice, or I got an attitude problem. There's like an underlying story in that perception of yourself that serves you in some way, shape, or form. If your story is that, you know, don't no man want me, I can't get men, like, you know, this ain't shit. What would serve you out of that is like, okay, it's a lot easier for you to say this ain't shit when you don't have to actively try and put yourself out there. Like, how easy is it for you to be like, no, this ain't shit, because you don't have to risk anything by doing that. Does that make sense? You're protecting yourself. That's serving you. Like, of course, you're like, oh, I would much rather be with a man. But just recognize the part in that serves you, and it'll check you. Like, get it together. Another one, she'll be like, okay, a lot of people want the keys. Give them the keys to the success. They come up with another excuse as to why they can't achieve it. Baby, get up and make it happen. I had to hold myself accountable with this one because when I was at my parents' house, I kept using the fact that I was in my parents' house as to why I could not get on my diet. Like, I will eat so much better once I have my own kitchen and my own fridge and my own groceries. Like, my mom, she keep cooking peach cobbler. Like, she keep cooking this food knowing I'm gonna eat it. And once I get by myself, like, you know, I'm gonna be making salads every day and I'm not gonna have no cookies in the house. I had cookies all week long. I went to Walmart. I got the oatmeal icing cookies, the Walmart brand ones. Took them out of the plastic wrapper, put them in a plastic Ziploc. Soft. What? Tore them up. 2 weeks, gone. Like, people say that they want the keys and they don't be holding themselves accountable because it requires you to be uncomfortable with yourself or to do something that's uncomfortable. And like, how uncomfortable is it for me to be a grown woman and not be able to have a cookie in my own home? Like, that is really not popping. So it definitely was it was like, okay, Jen, I hear you, right? Like, just at me, like, yeah. So it'll just make you feel a little bit like, okay, it's not all lilies and butterflies and you can do it, you got it, you were the best, you're the best, you're the best. I mean, it is like, you know, you are a badass. She's telling you, but she's also letting you know you gotta want to be a badass. Do you want one? But she lets you know, again, on top of that, by choosing to buy the book and opening the book and listening to this video about me talking about the book, you already are on your way to becoming a badass. So lastly, I think one of the most important chapters for me was chapter 25. Best quote to describe this chapter would be to let go and let God. Yes, God, amen, thank you, Jesus. The chapter is not called that. It's called Remember to Surrender. But basically, it is about giving your problems to the universe. So when you hammer something, OD, oh my goodness, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. I have to achieve this. I'm not a good person until I achieve it. I am less than because I haven't achieved it. All my other friends have achieved it and I haven't achieved it. Therefore, I am less than. What am I doing wrong? I have to achieve this thing. You are kind of losing faith in God and or the universe, your ancestors, whomever, because God is like, first of all, you trying so hard to achieve this, baby, I'm giving you that. But you gotta relax, okay? You're beating it down my throat. Simmer down. Like, that's literally how he talks to you, and you don't even realize. You're like, well, let me relax. Because the minute that you chill out, that joint will be like, here you go. And you wanted something else with that? Actually, here you go. And something else? As a matter of fact, you was over here forcing yourself for a freaking job that's paying $50K, and then God be like, well, I was trying to give her this $100K job, but I don't know if she wanted because she's dragging over this. Like, do you understand? Let go and let God. So it's not to say don't try to quit, to give up any effort. Like, still grind, still work towards your goals and be serious about it. Know what your goals are, but also don't limit your beliefs. Don't limit your beliefs and don't kill yourself trying to achieve something in particular, because you have to have more faith in God or the universe than the fear of not achieving that specific thing. Trust and know that God got me. He got it. If it aligns with my purpose, then it'll come to me. I'm gonna still get up every day and, you know, carry it, but I'm gonna let go and let God. And if it's meant for me, it's not gonna miss me. I think I said that to you before. It's mine. What's meant for me will not miss me. All in all, those are the takeaways. Those are a few of the biggest takeaways that I had from the book. I hope that it was helpful, whether you are just looking for some self-help tips or you're looking for a new self-help book. Regardless, I think that there's a lot of gems offered in the book, and if you want to be a badass, I mean, why not? It was a little corny, like corny parts of it, but I think that's just like, I don't know her, but if I had to guess, I'm assuming that's just who she is. But I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this was fruitful, and let me know what you think. If you go out and read the book, if you have read the book and you have similar feedback, if you have different feedback, and if you suggest any other books. I want to get a new one now that I finished this one. So if you have any other recommendations, please go ahead and shoot them my way. Thank you so much for stopping by, and make sure you go ahead and hit